Alright folks, welcome back to the channel Unfiltered Fishing. I'm Jay. I make fishing videos and gear reviews a lot of the times. We do some gear reviews. Elsa, are you going to start this nonsense? Yes, I know. Alright, so let's talk about footwear. That's something that probably should have been touched upon quite a while ago. Footwear and jetty safety. If I'm going to promote fishing on jetties or make videos fishing on jetties, then I should be talking about safety to go along with that, and there's a lot involved in that. But I'm going to get into the safety part or the footwear of the jetty part later, and just kind of start with regular old footwear for surf casting and whatnot. So many different options out there at this point in time now on what you can do. If you're never going to go near rocks, not fish Montauk, fish in the open beach, not on a jetty, you're not climbing up on rocks and stuff like that, probably your best bet is probably going to be something like this. A good boot foot breathable wader combo that you can find. These are from Bass Dash. I think I got them pretty cheap. These things are like 2 years old and they still have the tags on them. I haven't used them yet, mainly because I kind of tend to like the mobility or the ankle mobility of a stocking foot with a boot on top over the boot fit. I feel it's a little easier to get around and stuff like that. Not that these are bad or anything else. So I kind of bought these for when the weather is a little bit colder. November, December, getting into when I'm more on sand beaches more often, and I want to keep water off of my feet. Because, you know, no matter what, with the boot foot waders, you got neoprene, not the boot foot. The stocking foot waders, you got neoprene, and, you know, you're standing in the water with boots that are not waterproof, and water is still getting pretty close to your skin, even though the neoprene does keep you pretty warm at times. I think keeping the water off completely sometimes in those really colder months is advantageous to me anyway. Again, like I said, I haven't even worn these yet. They're brand new out of the box. That I've had for like 2 years. Got lug soles on the bottom, so you get some pretty good traction in sand and stuff like that. So there's your first option that you can do with waders and stuff like that. And I know they have neoprene and PVC materials and stuff like that. I've tried the PVC material. It gets really hot in the summertime, so probably better for the winter. And I've also had them spring leaks multiple times. PVC doesn't just, I don't know. I've had issues with it. I don't like them. Other people might have different experiences with them. I'm not crazy about it. So let me just go grab the other waders or the other option and start getting to that. So option two, when we come to to boots and waders, so stocking foot waders, again, breathable material. I'm not going to go into name brands too much. These are Frog Dogs. They're cheap enough that I probably go through 2 or 3 pairs a season with waders. They all suck. They all leak. At a certain point, they all get holes in them. These ones had a hole. I patched them, and then all of a sudden, there's another hole. So what I'll usually do is I'll hold on to my old set of waders or my previous set to start springing leaks, and what I'll do is I'll save these just for the jetty. So if I'm sliding up and down rocks and I tear these, I didn't just tear the new pair that I got that wasn't leaking. So, you know, if it's already leaking, I'm not submersing myself in water, so I don't need to really worry about it. I'll hold on to the old pair so that, you know, if I happen to rub my leg on a barnacle or something like that, it rips a hole. I'm not, you know, these ones already have a hole in them, so not too concerned about it. So, and when it comes to here with the neoprene booties, and what you're going to have to do with that is, of course, buy a wading boot. Now, I've seen a lot of options. I've seen a lot of options now with wading boots. A lot of different companies are making them, including that company that makes those waders, Bass Dash, Frog Dogs, probably a plethora of other brands. Of course, Sims and your more expensive brands and stuff like that all make wader boots. If you're not going to go on rocks, not going to go on Jetties, not taking these things out to Montauk. You know, they're all pretty good. Even the boot foot, yeah, if you're not using them too much, they're probably a pretty good option. Now, what your other option is, if you are going to fish jetties and rocks and stuff like that, you really want to get a pair of spikes, spiked boots, or felt. I haven't used the felt yet. I do have a few pair of felt bottoms I'll show you guys in a couple of minutes. I really want to try them out because I've heard good things about them, and I feel like I need to go try them. I'm not an advocate for it. I'm not advocating for them now. If anybody's got any different experiences with that, yeah, put it down below. If you like them, let me know, please. Because like, just something like, I have them. I have like 3 or 4 different bottoms for the boots with the felt that I just haven't tried. I'm like weary about it. I think I really need to, because I've heard that they have better grip than the studs. I don't know. Like I said, they might come back with another video after this, because I think I'm going to go out this weekend probably, and it probably end up being on a jetty somewhere, and I'm going to try both pairs. I'll show you guys in a couple of minutes. If you do want to stick with the boot foot waders and you do want to go on the jetty and stuff like that, there is an option, and those are the the Korker slip over sandals that you can use. These will go over a wading boot, or these will go over any boot, and you can strap them down, keep them tight. I've seen guys even duct tape them even after they have the straps on to keep them on tight to your feet. The downfall with these is if you put them on, they're kind of heavy and clunky. You see one spike was replaced in there. You will lose spikes. I'm going to show you guys another tip and trick with that later. I'll get to that. Right now, like, so if you want to wear the boot foots and go on the jetty and stuff like that, or even if you want to buy the stocking foot, you don't want to spend the money on one of the more expensive brands that I'll get into in buying those boots. You can always buy these, but these are not cheap either. They're not a cheap option. The good thing is with these is they slip on, they slip off. If you just want to wear them on the rocks, so you can put them in a backpack. If you ever walk to the rocks, you don't need to walk around with the sand in it, or carry them and then put them on when you get to wherever you're going, and you can, get those on. The newer ones they make come with straps. The old ones used to be laces. So I actually think I have a pair of the lace ones downstairs somewhere. But, we'll kind of into that. All right. So a little bit more into this with the video what I actually use. And like I said, there's dozens of different brands and stuff like that. I'm not affiliated with any brand. I'm not affiliated with the brand I'm about to show you. I just know my past experiences for many years of fishing the jetty and the rocks, and guys who have even more experience than I do, what we're wearing here. So this is a pair of Korker greenbacks. So this pair is about 2 years old. I usually get about 2, maybe 2.5 seasons out of these before they're completely kaput. And I'll kind of show you where they do kind of fail a little bit. These are the Omni tracks. So these bottoms are replaceable. The bottoms that I have on here right now have the small studs on them. So I tried these out, and they're pretty good at first. What ends up happening is that those kind of wear down kind of fast, and you don't really get as much grip as you will with these guys, which are basically the same as the spikes that are on the bottom of the slip-on ones, or the sandal style ones, or however we want to call those, on the bottom. These afford a lot more point protection and cutting through of the slime and the gunk on the rocks to get you a grip so that you're not sliding around. I will warn you about one thing. If you see a tabletop flat rock that looks like a piece of glass, do not step on it with these. These are great when the rock is coarse. If the rock is slick and looks like a sheet of glass, and there's one particular rock that I know to avoid, you will slide like a piece of ice with these things. So if the rock doesn't have some kind of coarseness to it, then these things don't grip into anything. They just slide on top like ice. So again, these are the greenbacks. The one thing about the greenbacks that I've noticed, they're a little low in the back and on the top. So what ends up happening is sand ends up getting inside of these, and then what it does is it kind of builds up on the back, and what it does is it kind of tears the inside there, and then sand gets in and continuously walking around, especially if you're fishing the front side beaches, you're standing in one spot, you notice, you look down, all of a sudden, oh, my feet are gone, I'm underneath the sand. You know, your feet get buried up from, you know, the wave action and everything else. Sand gets inside of these, and then it kind of gets in the back, and then from walking around, it chews up the back there and tears them up. That's where I've had most of these pairs fail. Also, sometimes after a while, the lace holes, these ones actually held up pretty well, because the higher you can get this, of course, closed on the top, the more sand you're going to keep out of them. They do have the loop for the front latch that most of the waders have to hook onto there. They keep the gravel guards down on them. I find that with the frog tugs, they really don't reach here. So what I end up doing is I end up hooking them to the laces. So there's a little trick. You can hook them to the lace, and then the gravel guard will stay down. And no matter what, some sand and water is going to get in here, or water and sand. Like I said, it builds up, and it kind of messes up the bottom. Another thing you want to watch with these is you have to buy them true to size. If you don't buy them true to size, what ends up happening now is the sand that goes in and gets into the bottom kind of gets in between the stocking foot wader and the bottom of the boot. So if there's shift motion, if it's too big for your foot, this will now just slide back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on the bottom of that stocking foot. It wears out the bottom of the stocking foot, and guess what? Then it leaks, and you have another leak that you don't need. All right, so those are the Korker's greenbacks. Like I said, I've been using those for a few years, and they've always been great. Nicole had the buckskin Marys, which were essentially the women's version of those, and they did the same thing. You know, great for her. She loved them. The only bad thing was, again, the sand gets in the back, and it wears out the back of them. I really feel for you women out there if you're watching. I know how hard it is just watching Nicole try to get waders that fit, try to get boots that fit. There's not a lot of brands that make women's sizes and stuff like that. The buckskin Marys, Korker's doesn't make anymore, which kind of sucks, but they did come out with a new brand that Nicole got, or a new model that Nicole got, and after Nicole got them, I actually picked them up. I'm going to go into the next. Now, I can't review those because I haven't used them. I'll never come on this channel and tell you guys to buy something that I haven't ever used or haven't ever tried. You know, I'm never going to do that. This stuff is always stuff that I've done. I'm not going to get something out of the box. The company's not going to send me something and say, hey, talk about our product, and I'm, you know, me without testing it, come on here and tell you guys, oh, this is great. No, I don't work that way. That's not me. That's why it's unfiltered fishing. You know, that's one of the reasons why it's unfiltered fishing, because I say what the hell I want about what I want. You know, that's kind of how I roll with this. You know, I bought enough products that were crap that, you know, that I wouldn't tell anybody to buy. And Proline waders being one of them. And I don't care what they say. They're junk. Don't buy Prolines. I've had nothing but problems with Proline waders. Leak out of the box, every pair. But we won't get into that. We just won't get into it. This is more, again, footwear you guys can get. Like I said, you're all grown folk. I don't need to tell you how much to spend. I don't need to tell most of you that you get what you pay for. Okay, so keep that in mind. You always get what you pay for. I'd rather buy it once, have it last 2 or 3 years, and then have to buy it again, because they're not going to last forever. Wearing these things 3 to 5 nights a week or more sometimes, not going to last. I don't care what you do. It's salt water. It corrodes everything. So, and it's sand, it's coarse, it wears out everything. So there's no magic thing that's going to, oh, last forever boots. Yeah, no, waders, no, not happening. You're walking around in them, you're rubbing them together, your fish have spines, sand is coarse, hooks have sharp points, things get torn, going up and down jetties, there's barnacles, everything else. So yeah, nothing lasts forever, especially surf fishing. It's a rough sport. It's tough and tumble, and things get worn out. It's where we're gonna go with that, and we'll leave that for now as it is, and I'll come up with a couple of other options If you don't want to wear waders and it gets really hot, and something else you can do is, you know, if you have some kind of a wader boot, you can buy wader stocking boot footy things. Wader stockings. And these are good, you know what, when it gets to be like July and August and stuff like that, and I'm out during the day and I'm sweating my behind off and I'm fishing the rocks, I'll never wear shorts because like I said, there's barnacles and stuff down there. I'll always wear a pair of jeans, probably maybe an old pair, and I'd probably bring an extra pair because if I'm going down on the rocks, most likely the stuff is going to get on my jean legs or wader legs and everything else, and then, you know, to go sit in the truck and get that stuff all over the seat is no good either. But, you know, with a pair of jeans, I can wear these and the boots, and now I don't have to be all out in a pair of waders if, you know, if it's a pretty calm day and I'm just going up and down the rocks and I'm not getting blown over with waves and stuff like that. If I don't want to, if there's no reason why I'm going to get wet, you know, a lot of times that's not the case. But, you know, like I said, if it's hot, you can wear these and a pair of boots and a pair of jeans and be a little bit more comfortable. One thing I will say is these things do get hot inside, so especially with a pair of boots, so you might want to dip your feet in water once in a while just to cool them off, because they do get pretty warm. Even the wader boots, same thing. If you're not in water, the neoprene kind of, you know, that's what it does. It holds out water, but it also holds it in, so they kind of get pretty moist on the inside. Yeah, there's that word again. All right. So, options for the bottoms of the Korker boots. You know, besides for the ones that I showed you guys, grab some. These are on the bottom. So, all right. So. These are just the regular bottoms that can go on the Korker's bottoms. Just grab those up close. Those. So no spikes in the bottom of those, no nubs on the bottom of those. These ones have the nubs, and as you see on the back of these unhook off, they peel off. They have the little front part that slides in, that'll pop out, and to put those back in, you just, it doesn't matter, but these push in and then everything clips in. A lot of times it's easier to have them half on than stomp them on and when they're on your foot, because it'll snap in the plastic pieces, and it's a little easier than trying to maneuver them and press them back in. So there's one option that they all sell with, and here's another option. And again, these are the felts, and these are those what the heck is the name of it? I'm gonna forget. Oh yeah, okay. That was the name of them. These are the Bantham Lights. So these are kind of a newer one that they've come out with that I've seen. These are the ones that Nicole got, and when Nicole got them, I was like, you know what? Mine is starting to get a little worn out in the back. Let me grab a pair of these. I mean, those are wet, so I can't say that these are lighter at this point right now. And like I said, I haven't used them yet, but I can see a little bit of some differences. One thing that I see is these are higher in the back. There you go. You put them up. They're a little bit higher on that back, on there. So maybe that will help keep sand out a little bit. I'm not sure. Like I said, when I wear them for a year, or at the end of this season, I'll come back and review it. Another thing I like about these is there's a plastic hook up here, rather than just that material. That's a little bit, I think, you know, a little bit better, because that's where you're putting most of the torque when you're pulling a shoelace is on that area. So that's where, you know, they're most likely going to snap, and where they usually do break on me is that top one. But now they have a little bit of a hook on there made out of a hardened plastic. Also, this seems to be a little bit higher up, so maybe the gravel guard get on there a little bit better. Like I said, I'm not going to get too much into it, but I broke these out because they already had the felt bottoms with it. They come with options usually packaged. I got these from Amazon. They came with these and these. I could have got them with these and the other ones, but I already had a pair of those, and like I said, the felt ones I wanted to try out, even though I probably have a plethora of them downstairs. I don't know how many of these I have down, because I've gone through pairs and usually come with these and I don't use them. So again, like these are the newer ones that I've got, and I haven't used them yet, so I won't review them. This is just my first initial review, or not even review, kind of out of the box kind of thing, and what I like it, how they look so far. I don't know how they're going to perform, so we won't talk about their performance, and I will make a video later on in the year about that. Alright, so I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover with boots. Now, again, the bottoms, these bottoms here, what it says right there, tighten before use. Yes, definitely do. And this video I'm going to go on, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks to keep them from doing this. So yeah, this is laziness. Let's not tighten our lugs, and now we only have 5 left out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I've managed to keep 1/3 of them, probably because I didn't tighten them when I got them. And there's also another little trick that I'm going to show you guys to keep these in a little bit longer, and that'll be after I go on to my next little rant here. Alright, so like I said, it's irresponsible of me or anybody else making videos on a Jetty to not talk about safety and what you should be doing. And there's going to be arguments on how I feel it's safe and how other people feel it's safe. I get it. Some guys will not even wear waders on a Jetty. They won't. They'll wear skins and the boots, and however they put on the cleats, whether it be the strap cleats or regular boots, and regular wading boots like I showed you. Just, you know, whatever. I mean, I feel both of them are safe if you take the right precautions. If you're gonna wear waders on a Jetty, make sure that you have a knife to cut yourself out of them. Most people drown because they panic, and or if you hit your head, God forbid, you fall off these rocks. Put your feet straight down. Most likely you're down on the bottom, and you could probably stand and walk. People have died fishing jetties. A young kid died a couple of years ago at one of the jetties out here. It's not something to be taken lightly, especially during not nice weather. I've seen people get blown off rocks. I've seen people almost go in between the rocks. It's not a joke. It's not a game. Fishing those jetties, you know, a lot of people will say, well, everybody else is doing it. Why can't I? Yeah, you can. Just make sure you have the right gear to do it. If you're gonna wear waders, you should be wearing some kind of a waterproof top also, and a belt that's cinched down tight, because if you go in the water with those waders, you're gonna get filled up. Even fishing the front, I've seen get dangerous. I've seen people get knocked down in waders on the front, not wearing a top, or wearing a top long. The top should never be inside your waders. The top should be on top of your waders with a belt cinched around it. I don't care if you use the cheap ass belt that comes with every set of waders. Cinch the damn thing down, especially in the fall, especially when the water is rough. If a wave comes behind you, because you cannot not plan for it. You can't figure that wave is on you, especially at night. All of a sudden, water that was up to your ankles is up to your waist, and the back pressure of that wave is taking your legs out from under you. You go down, and guess which way the water's running? It's running down, right into your waders, and it's going to fill up your boots, and it's going to drag you out. I've seen some of the most experienced guys fall. You know, there's no shame in falling. You take the proper precaution, you keep a top on, or you at least keep that wader cinched so that you can keep minimum water out of them, you get back up and walk around and get out of it, then you're fine. Jetty, no exception. Nobody should be out there wearing a pair of waders and no belt around it to cinch that thing tight. There's a reason why they come with them. There is a reason why guys wear them. You know, it's not for looks. You got your waders wide open on top. That thing fills up with water, you finish. You fall in the water, that thing fills up with water, you finish. You're going down. If you got a top and a belt around it, a good belt, keeping that water out, or at least some, you gave yourself time. It's going to keep air inside, not water. The air floats. So there's air inside those waders. It's going to keep you buoyant. If it fills up with water, no more buoyancy. So, you know, there's that to think of. Please be careful out there on those jetties. You know, especially when it's rough. I rarely go out to the tip of jetties anymore. Like, those rocks just seem to be getting further apart, or maybe I'm just getting older and way more slippery than they used to be. Even going up and down them in the jetty now, it's just, yeah, I'm not young anymore. I'm not 20, I'm not 30 something, you know, I'm damn near almost 50. You know, and I still want to be able to enjoy it, but I have to be safe. These little nubby guys, they're all right, but they don't quite cut it. The other ones are much better. So that's my rant with this. Anybody who's out there, you know, making videos with no corkers or no, I don't want to go with brand name. I don't know what other brands make the grip studs like that. Korkers is really the only ones that I do know that really make them. I know that they put those little lugs in the bottom. I had a pair of LL Beans that had them, and yeah, okay, great. They were all right, but I feel way more protection with the other ones. Why is there always somebody using a power tool? At least the bird shut up. Well, yeah, so, you know, that's my rant and rave on that. Make sure you have a belt. Whether you choose to, you know, in a pair of jeans, like I said, you go in the water, it's not, jeans aren't filling up with water. Neither are skins or something like that are going to afford you some protection. I would just watch down by the rocks, especially putting bare legs down there. Because if you do cut yourself on those barnacles and stuff, there's a lot of bacteria and that stuff. You can get some pretty nasty infections, and I know a friend, yeah, months of antibiotics, and it wouldn't heal. It just, you know, MRSA from scraping his legs up on that stuff, getting a blood infection, stuff you don't want. You definitely don't want that negativity in your life. I don't know how long this video is going to ramble. I'm like rambling on here. I'm trying to touch every point because I don't want to go back and have to refilm anything. So yeah, all right. I said what I had to say with that, with the safety, and you know, I feel that if I'm going to make videos on a jetty, it's kind of my responsibility to talk about safety, because God forbid somebody got hurt following what I do, wasn't properly prepared, and stuff like that, and I would feel terrible. And like I said, enough people get hurt on their own, and with social media now, everybody think, well, everybody, you know, if these guys are doing it, why can't I? And you really got to make sure that you have the right gear to go out and do this stuff. Like I said, it's not a joke. That's rocks, and they're sharp. You hit your head on it, God forbid, and you slide into the water. Like I said, people have died, and it has happened within the past couple of years. You know, whether that person was prepared and, you know, freak accidents and stuff like that, yeah. Even some guys will wear a personal flotation device, like an automatically inflatable PFD, life preserver, that, you know, when it contacts water or goes to a certain depth in water, it automatically inflates and brings them back up. Probably not a bad investment if you're going to spend a lot of time on the jetties. And, you know, something that I've kind of kicked around, and something that I might purchase pretty soon. One other thing is, if you're going to go out there, especially at night, you know, probably going to want somebody with you too. I know a lot of guys fish alone. I fish alone a lot of the times. Nicole works, and you know, I have more free time, so I'm able to get out there now a little bit more. Having an extra set of hands on those jetties is advantageous. You know, if you spend a lot of time on your jetties, you learn how to fish them and everything else. Excuse me. It's only going to be a matter of time before you hook into a fish that you're not going to be able to just flip up on the rocks. You're going to have to go down and get it. No fish is worth your life. So, you know, if you can't, it's not safe, you don't have it in the safe spot, cut the line. You know, if you can get down to it, if there's somebody else, it's a little bit safer to get down there. You can get those fish. I've lost fish at the rocks. Oh well. Life goes on, I'll catch another one, you know. You definitely, you know, jetty fishing alone can be kind of dangerous. Having at least an extra set of eyes on you and stuff like that, you know, is helpful. There's usually other people fishing, but I fished plenty of nights where there wasn't another soul in sight. You know, and hooked into a fish and had it in a bad spot for me to land. And, you know, like I said, no fish is really worth your life. You know, there's more fish always. And that's kind of all I really wanted to get into with that. So I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover with footwear and waders and boots and stuff like that, and jetty fishing. You know, having a buddy system is great. If not, at least let somebody know where you are or where you're going. You know, whether you leave a note for somebody or, hey, I'm heading out over here. You know, I plan on being out from this time to this time, and then at least if they don't hear you, they get some kind of somebody out there to you quick. All right, I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to set up and show you guys that trick that I was talking about to not lose so many spikes in your boots or in the bottom of those boots, and I will be back with that in a minute. All right, so actually one more thing. Nicole actually picked up these, which are made by Korkers also. Pretty cool. They're like sandal sneakers, and they're really lightweight. And again, they have the bottoms that, you know, you can, they call them the Omnitreks, that can pull off and pull on, and she could put on a pair of spikes. And, you know, they're open, so they have a lot of drainage, and they're probably really lightweight. They'd probably be really nice for the front also. Walking around, being a little bit more mobile, not being so heavy on your feet. She hasn't tried them yet, but I think at the end of the year, after she uses them a few times, I think we'll get back into these a little bit and have her talk to you guys about those. They said they look pretty cool, and I thought they were open toe. They're not. You see, when she said sandals, I was like, yeah, I'm not a big sandals guy, especially since, you know, there's no protection on sandals for your toes. But these actually are, they call them sandals, but they're actually have some pretty good protection for your feet and stuff like that. Real lightweight stuff. Interesting enough. When Nicole tries them out, maybe at the end of the year we'll do a video reviewing these and the other guys that we just got. And, you know, that's the other good thing is, I forgot to touch on that, is those Bantham Lights they make them for men and women. So women out there who are watching, I don't know how many I have watching, you know, you can get those Banthams, and they make them in women's sizes. So they don't make the buckskin Marys anymore, but they make those ones in women's sizes. And I'm liking the way those look a little bit better than my old ones, even though I've been using those ones for years and years, because they are a little bit higher in the back. But we touched on that already, so I just wanted to show you guys those, and now I will go back downstairs and get the tools and show you guys what to do with those ones. Okay, so pretty simple. What you're going to need for this this job right here is a 10mm socket, and I have a little extension on there, makes life easier, some Loctite, and your Korker boots, or your Korker bottoms rather. And you can see there's a washer, and there's the stud. So yeah, okay, again, pretty simple stuff here. I opened up the Loctite, and didn't want to sit there and do that on camera. So, you know, just a drop of red lock. Tell me I have to cut this open, don't I? Oh, of course. All right. Okay, guys, like I said, pretty simple stuff here. I opened up the Loctite, have our little stud here, and we're just going to put just a drop of the red Loctite on the threads. Wash it back in through there. And like I said, if you didn't want to use the Loctite, then you don't need to. I think it adds a little bit more security. Take these, tighten them down. I said if you just wanted to go around and just tighten these and make sure that they weren't going to come out, then you could do that too. But there you go. Pretty simple and easy. Like I said, it comes with a warning right on it. Tighten before use. So, you know, if you just want to go around each one and give it a crank down, tighten them, they are, you know, they do have some play in them. You know, you can get them down there pretty tight, and with the Loctite, it won't come out. Yeah, it's permanent Loctite. I don't want them to come out. So, you know, Nicole said, what are you doing? You're not going to be able to get them out if you need to. I'm like, well, why do I need to get them out? There's not a reason for it. If I have to change them out, then I don't know. I'll just buy a new pair, because but you know, if these things hold, then they hold. What you do have to watch, what happens is it will actually rip the entire tap out. So, you know, there's a piece of course, drilled metal inside, you know, that screws into, attached to the plastic rubber material. And yeah, that can rip out too. And the whole piece can rip out. And then, you know, there's not really too much you can do at that point. All right, so we'll do another one for you guys from start to finish. I did a bunch of them already. Get these loosened up. You gotta get it loose. They're pretty loose, so you really do want to tighten them down a little bit. That's it. Need that there. A little bit of red Loctite. That back in. Make sure it seats properly. Doesn't cross thread. Screw it down. I guess hand tight. No problem. This on here, and there we go. No, sit on there, right? Nice and tight. And that won't come off. You can do that for everyone. I should have said that before. Guess I was giving people too much credit. Okay, guys, that wraps it up for this video. I'm going to leave you guys with a clip of me catching a fish on the jetty. And just, I don't know, it fits. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press the old... Let me straighten this out. It's such a blooper here. It really is. It's a fly-by-night operation. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider becoming a subscriber if you haven't already. Again, thanks for watching, and yeah, be careful when you're tightening those things down. You don't want to tighten them too much. Just remember, it's metal that's seated inside of a plastic or a rubber, so if you do over tighten it, you will strip that out. So yeah, make them nice and snug. Use the Loctite. They'll never come out. And oh, guys, enjoy. Thank you. Till next time, hope to see you out there, just not on my rock, and especially not with the right footwear. Talk to you guys later. If I make a video, I'll sit here catching big bluefish in this snotty weather. I'm hoping for bass, but they're not in here right this minute. Oh, don't go in there. Oh yeah, go over here. Oh, that's a pretty nice one. You don't want to let that go. Let go of my bucktail, bluefish. You know, you just don't want to let go. Careful of those teeth here, folks.